Welcome to Rugged and Ruthless. I'm joined today by my guest, Corey, who I've known for a minute. And he is joining us in the studio today to have a great old time talking about anything we want to and whatever we want to and however we want to. So welcome, Corey.
Thank you for having me.
Huh? Well,
I wanted to use today to find out about you.
Yeah, I mean,
so the people, the masses know.
The masses, yeah. We met now just about 4 months ago. Yeah, we met about 4 months ago. Well, good times.
Was it August when you joined?
I think it was August. So I think it was late July, August.
Okay.
Because I think I took my tour mid-July here at Adventures Unknown.
That's crazy because we started Punchline in July.
Like, yeah,
this has only been around since July.
This stuff has?
I mean, June we did a couple shows, but like I didn't incorporate the company until July 23rd, and it's only December, and this is how far we've got.
You know, I do know it was around the end of July because my ex-wife's birthday is July 30th. I know it was right around that time frame, so I'm thinking she's going to be at a party at some bar someplace, and I'm going to be making money.
Oh, yeah.
Or making shows.
Both.
Hopefully.
Making show money.
Make show money. Yeah, let's go with show money. Let's go with that. So, yeah.
You're getting ready to go out of town today, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be in Oklahoma. I'm leaving from here to Oklahoma, and then from Oklahoma to Kansas. And then we're going to go on a private hunt out there and hopefully hammer some birds.
You killing birds north to south from now until February, would you say?
Yeah, so I started in Wisconsin in October, and then started hunting in North Zone of Missouri, and then now South Zone's open. So I try to follow the birds as far south as possible. I mean, I'm trying to get Scott, involved and get us some good hunts down like Louisiana or something, but I'm trying.
Yeah. I think one of our other guys here, a buddy of mine, Mike V, does all his boar hunts and stuff down in Louisiana.
Yeah, I want to do one in Texas.
He probably has some connects on the ducks. Is it different kinds of ducks in different parts of the United States?
No. I mean, well, it depends. I mean, there's some that are like East Coast or some are West Coast, but it's primarily the mallards, the greenheads.
East Coast ducks, are they more like Jersey Shore ducks? They talk with their wings a lot?
Hey, I'm Italian too. Whoa, hey, we're all friends here.
Like, hey, quack, 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 quack.
Yeah, like, whoa, quack. Quack for me. No. Yeah, no, they're generally the same birds. You'll get a different population of birds. You'll get more divers and stuff, different types that are more on the East Coast. The mountains really kind of stop them in a lot of ways. If they're low flyers, they'll stop at the mountains because if you don't have to cross mountains.
Like, what are the ones with the fancy wood ducks? Is that
that is my kryptonite bird. I have one. I'm getting mounted right now, full plume. They're my favorite birds. They are my kryptonite.
Are they wherever too? Like any of these ducks are wherever?
Yeah, if there's woods and stuff, yeah, you can find wood ducks. I mean, I was in southern Missouri, saw some, and then I've been in Wisconsin, seen them.
How much wood would a wood duck wood if a wood duck could duck wood?
They just bore holes.
Got it.
Yeah, no, they're pretty cool. I mean, wood ducks are my kryptonite bird. One of my buddies, Billy, who's another member of our group, he'll shoot every wood duck that comes through, but his kryptonite bird is a pintail.
Okay.
So if a wood duck comes through, he's hammering it.
So do I understand this correctly? Pintails are fast. Is that why?
Oh yeah, they're hairier birds.
Is that the fast ones?
Well, they're all fast.
Yeah,
I mean, mallards are slower because they're bigger, but like some of the smaller birds, like teal, I mean, they're in and out. They sound like harriers coming through. They're gone. Yeah. Like you'll catch them out of the corner of your eye, and by the time you draw, they're already 50 yards to your right. They're gone. You got to catch them as they're coming, or you're not. I mean, you can shoot them, but it's hard. Yeah. And they're small. They're like probably.
Like pigeons?
6 inches, a little bit bigger than a pigeon, but they're fast and they fly real erratic. So if you get one of those, that's a good day. But with Billy though, if there's a pintail coming through, I'll hammer it, but I can't shoot a wood duck. And same with him. If a pintail comes through, he can't shoot it, but I'll hammer it. So we kind of have a running rivalry.
That's like your curveball and your high slider or whatever.
Yeah,
like
pretty much. Yeah, that's going from a 98 mile an hour fastball to like a knuckle curve that's at 65.
So at any time, any of these birds could be wherever.
Yeah. I mean, they generally...
See, I thought birds were like regional. Again, I know nothing about it. So this is probably great because this is also like would be a good segue to like people that don't know what the hell this is.
Yeah.
Right? So because I was always under the assumption that like, oh, down here we do snow geese and over here we have wood ducks and here we have teal and here we have this and that. I didn't know that it was like a lake or like lakes, right? Like I go fishing a lot, and so like pretty much any lake in the region of the Midwest I can catch your bass, your catfish, or whatever. But you go a little farther north, I can get walleye, pike, muskie, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, farther south, I can get different shit. So
yeah, but the thing about the ducks though is there's different flight patterns. So and what I mean, there's different flights. So like the wood ducks, the teal, they don't like to be cold. So like teal season starts in like October. It's an early season. Now you can shoot teal through the whole of duck season if you catch them, but teal, man, they will be there in October. You'll hammer down them. There's a special season just for teal, and then once it starts getting cold, they'll start moving farther south first. So what I always try to tell everybody, there's 3 types of birds you're going to get. You're going to get the migrating birds, which they move in with the cold fronts. They come through, they push through, they get their butts a little cold, they take off. Teal are generally the first wave. They're the first ones to go through. They're generally they'll come through. They'll fly through fast.
Okay.
And they're generally gone by the 2nd or 3rd week of season. If you have a normal season where it gets cold quickly, then you'll have your resident birds, and those are the birds you see like at golf courses and like you'll see them. They'll stay all year round. They are residents. They live there. They keep the pools open. They eat, like especially golf courses. Any golf course you'll see ducks everywhere. Those are resident birds. And then you have some calendar birds, which they don't necessarily follow cold fronts necessarily, but they'll just they just like looks like the sun's getting low. I'm going to take off, and they'll do it about the same time every year. I see it. I know, man.
There's gnats in here.
Yeah, it's natty.
There's natty light. So what about Canadian geese?
I love Canada's.
They live everywhere. Like I see them here all the time. I don't feel like they go anywhere.
I mean, honestly, some do. Some are resident. They're resident birds, calendar birds, just like any other migratory bird. They're going to do the same thing.
So they can be.
You can see if
whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Canada's, and we call them Harrier pandas. Because they're slow and they're like really hard to kill. Like you can shoot them 3 times and they'll still run off. Like I've literally hammered one, flipped it backwards, it hits the water, gets up and starts walking off. Shot it again, boom. It kind of falls over, gets back up, walks off. And
it's
then
like a big ass cockroach.
Kind of, yeah. But no, they're the same as any other migratory bird. They'll fly south. Generally, but they'll generally, the big waves of them generally come during the really cold snaps, like 10, 12 degrees, and they'll sit on that water and they'll run circles and they'll keep that water open, and then the ducks will hammer in on them because they want that open water. So Canada's are, I mean, think about this for a second. Like you go spend $1,000 on a coat.
Okay.
What is it filled with?
Right.
Goose feathers, and they're Canada goose feathers. And that's because they are so hardy when it comes to staying warm. Man, those things, I've seen those things fly in 75-mile-an-hour winds off on the river. Snow going sideways, ice, and those things are just flying like it's nothing.
Dang.
Trying to shoot them, on the other hand, is hard because you're trying to aim into that wind, but yeah.
It's like a hippo.
Yeah, that's why we call them Harrier pandas.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
But so when you're doing this stuff too, you're migratory as well seasonally, right? So like when you're traveling up and down, did you get used to driving because of hunting, or have you always been used to driving?
I just like to drive. That's my calm space. Like I like to get in the car, crank some tunes, and just like if I'm arguing or I'm mad, like whatever, I'll just get.
You just drive it
I
out?
just drive, man.
Drive it out.
I do.
It reminds me of like an '80s movie.
Yeah, I take that TRX and I'll just hammer down and go. Yeah.
Like, what was that? Was it which Rocky was it when he gets in the
Two,
Ferrari?
I think. No, it had to have been after the first one because he was
Like
poor in the
Christmas
first
night.
one.
Yeah, he didn't have a car.
Yeah.
Until the end.
I think it was 2 or 3.
Because he was fighting Apollo Creed.
And that would have been 2.
Because Clubber Lang was 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then,
I'm a driver. I just like to drive. I don't like to fly. Like I can't stand to fly. After the Army, I can't stand to fly.
Is it No Way Out? Is that song he's listening to?
I have no idea.
There's no
you're older than
way
me.
out.
Oh yeah, I think that is it. You're right.
There's no shortcut home. Like,
we don't have the rights to that, but with that kind of music, we don't need it.
You don't need it.
There's
no way that sounds similar.
There's no way.
So when were you in the Army?
I joined up April 4th of 2001.
2001.
Yeah,
and
so I joined up.
I'm older though.
I was 18, dude.
Okay, maybe I am.
I know you are because I've talked about your age. I know you're not much older than me, but
yeah, I was like,
because
I graduated in 02.
Okay, I graduated in 2000, so
I was born in 83.
Okay, I'm older. Never mind.
I thought.
I was
but
born
just
in
by a
81.
hair, right? Yeah.
I was born in 81.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that. People.
Hey, look, we all look old. Look at the gray. Look, we all look old. But,
yeah, I got a full Papa Smurf going down. Like this is.
Dude, I had black hair 3 years ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
I still do, but it's peppery.
It's like you're salt and a little bit of pepper.
Yeah.
Or you're a lot of pepper, a little salt. I'm a lot of salt, little pepper.
Yeah, but see down here, like my family, I guess you have. What do they say? Like your great grandfather on your mom's side is where you get your hair, I believe. Whatever that case is, if it is true or isn't true, because it might be the other way around. But my my great-grandfather on my mother's side and my great-aunt both had jet black hair except for silver.
And gray mustache and gray mustaches.
My great-aunt never had a gray beard.
You never know. Hormones have changed.
Perhaps my great-grandfather.
Hormones have changed, sir.
Yeah, but they both had silver sideburns.
Really?
So like I have this like Cumberbatch crap going on, but my hair's black. But it's like starts going silver as soon as it touches my face.
Yeah, with my family.
Probably because it's scared.
I'm Irish
Scared
Italian.
the color out of it.
I'm Irish Italian and Native American, so I'm screwed either way you look at it.
Yeah.
Dark hair, higher cheekbones,
But you can't
tan skin, but I can't grow a good beard.
I can't either. Look at this. This is like a month and a half, and it's still.
You saw me last Wednesday, right?
So it's
How
like
it was
ludicrous.
patchy. That was a month. I trimmed it because when I put my face mask on when I'm down in Kansas this weekend, I don't want it to stick too hard and get ingrown hairs, so I just trimmed it down.
Yeah, I used to put alcohol on my thing. So you went into the army on my chin strap for football.
That makes sense.
Yeah, to keep the. But I didn't realize it dries out. Whatever. I was a kid. So 2001, you were a kid though. You go into the army.
Yep.
You're flying.
I hated it. I mean, I love the Army, but I hated the PT in the morning.
Oh yeah.
I was always like decent at push-ups and sit-ups, but I hated running.
I don't feel like you're a guy that takes orders well.
I'm normally the one giving the orders, so... But you got to understand, my mom was in the Army, my dad was in the Army.
Oh, so it was just kind of a rite of passage.
Yeah, pretty much. So my mom was really strict. That's probably why I don't like to take orders now, because she's good at it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. She's good at it.
Well,
She's good at giving
You're
orders.
not going to argue back. Like, it's not like you're going to flex on your mom.
Hell no, my mom will whoop my ass.
Right. So that's.
I mean, when she gets over there and she gets mad, I still flinch.
I created a monster with my younger son because I let him decide everything.
I did that with my 7-year-old, but now I have to start changing the rules, and it's been rough. It's been rough.
It is rough.
He's pretty good.
I've done it for like a year and a half now. So Tyson's lived with me since 2nd grade. So the first year was real rough. It was like a buddy cop film. Like he was teaching me how to let loose, and I was teaching him how to stick to the rules.
Right. Let's go with that.
And now we've got to the point where I cook nearly every night, and I forgot why he argues with me is because I created a space where he can argue with me as a child. And I was like,
It's good to be vocal.
I gotta nip that. Yeah, but I gotta nip that shit because I thought about it because usually I was so indifferent. With my older son, he was there on the weekends. Right?
Yeah.
And like every other Wednesday or something. And so, and now that my older son's a grown man, like we have a different kind of relationship. It's a great relationship. I love it. But that was we were always doing something. It was like a weekend thing.
Yeah.
When they live with
I can see that.
I'm so indifferent that I'm like, hey, what do you want to eat? What do you want to watch? And then I thought to myself, oh yeah, I lived with my grandparents as a kid. Never once was my grandfather like, hey, Cor, what would you like to see on television this evening?
Man, it was History Channel and Channel 9.
Yeah, that's it.
Because I lived with my grandparents a lot. Towards the end of my high school, I lived with my grandparents, and I love my grandparents. They're freaking awesome. My grandfather's really stupid smart. Like, I mean, you can't have a conversation with him unless you're at his level. Because he'll just give you the look. He's German, so he'll just look at you. And he's my step-grandfather, but he married my grandmother in 71. So, like, I was born in 81. Yeah, so it's been my grandfather. And my grandmother's a little, like, 4-foot Italian woman. And she's something else, too. She's really polite. But when we used to go there, I grew up watching Doctor Who on Channel 9.
Yeah.
I'm still a Whovian. I'm a mathlete and an athlete.
Okay.
So I was a nerd growing up. Doctor Who, Bob Ross. Man, I used to love Bob Ross. Channel 9, PBS. Man, it was the greatest thing ever.
Hiding trees.
Dude, did you hear the theory on that, where he's a serial killer and he drew all the pictures? Bob Ross.
To show where the bodies were?
Yeah. Well, that's where he buried them, because if you look at it through a thing, it's like it was weird.
I don't know. There was some documentary about him that I haven't watched yet.
It's not. Are you talking about the one with Owen Wilson? It's not really a documentary.
No. That would be called like. What would they consider that? When somebody plays you, that's a
biography? No, what is it?
Not a dramatization.
It kind of is in Hollywood.
Yeah, but whatever. Biopic. Anyway, it's not what I'm talking about. There was some kind of documentary on Netflix or something. And I don't know what it was about, but it was some kind of conspiracy about like him being a murderer.
Serial killer.
They also talked about like he was a Marine, but he wasn't a Marine. Or was that?
That was Mr. Rogers. He was
Rogers?
a sniper. Yeah, they said he was a sniper and stuff. He wasn't any of that.
No, he was just
not at all.
He was just a great guy.
Dude, he got I think he won like the Nobel Prize or something for he won a presidential medal because he.
The speech about public television and radio that he gave.
Well, no, but it wasn't even that. It was just he won something for that too. But because he was such a good person. You know, I was reading why he always says he's feeding the fish. every time he'd walk through, I'm feeding the fish. Because there was a blind girl that was, she knew he had fish, and she couldn't see that she was feeding him, so she wrote a letter saying she was worried about him feeding the fish. From that point moving forward, he would always say, I'm feeding the fish, because she could hear it. And he would stop at birthday parties if he saw him.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Mr. Rogers is the man. The worst insult as an adult is, would Mr. Rogers be proud of you for that?
I never heard that, but it makes a lot of sense.
I would probably cry. I mean, because I can be a nice person, but I'm kind of an asshole too. I'm friendly.
Right.
I believe in donating and I believe all that stuff, but I mean, it's just one of those things where sometimes there's niceness and sometimes you can't be nice, and it's a hard road to walk sometimes.
Yeah. Well, conflict was something I had to learn about. I didn't like conflict of any kind.
Oh, I love conflict. That's the problem. That's where I struggle.
Well, how did you, speaking of that, so you're in the Army, it's 2001.
Mm-hmm. I was in basic aid before 9/11.
You're a guy who likes conflict. Mm-hmm. What did you...
How long
were you in there? What did you do?
I was in there for a bit. I was a combat engineer demolition, so I was a guy that was the one. They always say, like, if you watch the recruiting videos, it's like the guys are like out there like diffusing IEDs, doing all this bullshit. Yeah, essentially, and picket pounder and whatever else you could do. But realistically, I just maintained vehicles all the time. I mean, we got trained on all this stuff, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my youngest uncle was probably in there about the same time you were, and he was a combat engineer also.
Combat engineers are badass. I mean, they're hardcore dudes.
He was over in Afghanistan and Fallujah, I believe.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Well, we don't even talk about where I go, but I had a good time in the military and enjoyed it. Enjoyed it, and then I got medically retired. Stupidest reason I got retired. I'm not saying it's stupid, it was a legit reason, but it's like how all the stuff I did, ended up getting injured playing football and breaking my arm and did severe nerve damage. Like I'm 90% on the VA scale. I could get 100% now. I just don't. I'm just not fighting it. 90% is fine with me.
So then
I got out.
What year was that?
Shit, I don't even know.
Mid 20 teens?
No, it wasn't that long.
So whatever it is.
Whenever it was.
You get out of the Army.
And then I had to deal with dumbass little teenagers telling me what to do for a couple of years.
Okay.
Because, you're trying to find a job out of the military, especially if it was your aspiration.
Yeah, because there's really a gap on your resume when it should be
most companies would prefer to hire veterans, and I'm a big advocate for hiring veterans because a lot of times veterans just need a purpose.
And franchises love veterans because they're great at structure. Like,
yes.
They can go in and be like, oh, you want to run this? But unfortunately, like you're saying, typically that structure comes with running a fast food restaurant or a restaurant or something in retail.
Corporate America, corporate America sucks.
Corporate sucks.
But then you get in there and you'll have some,
I had a corporate
I struggle with when I came out was 4 years worth of college or basic training, which one was more beneficial? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people say, 4 years worth of college. I'm like, well, you were partying and going to frat parties and doing all this crap. I'm learning a skill. I'm learning a trade. I have to have discipline. I have a squad. I have guys I have to look out for. So I still, to this day, get really pissed off at the fact that veterans get treated so bad.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they have even the worst soldiers better than any college kid I've ever dealt with. Mm-hmm. Any one of them. They come with a different discipline. They come with a different mentality. Now, the problem is with a lot of veterans.
One level of respect.
Well, the respect part, that's earned. Respect's earned no matter where you go. Right. But when,
Well, that's what I'm saying. In college, you don't have to earn it.
Yeah.
It's just given to you because it's assumed, especially nowadays, it's assumed that everyone has the right to be respected and coddled.
Mm-hmm. And the problem that I have is like, it's like, I have a degree in what? Underwater fucking basket weaving?
Yeah.
I served my country. I wrote a blank check to this country, payable upon death. And you're going to tell me to go fucking clean a toilet. Yeah, go bullshit. Go fuck yourself. I'm not doing it. Like, and that's where soldiers, they draw their line because they have that self-worth. Look, dude, you're not paying me enough to go clean a fucking toilet. Go do it yourself. And that's something where I draw the line. I got fired from a few jobs when I came out.
Yeah. But you found your path, right?
I found a path. I wouldn't say, my path didn't hit until I was 39.
Mine was at 40.
Yeah, mine was at 39, and I finally started realizing my self-worth in corporate America.
Yeah.
And I started out in staffing, and then I tried to bounce around. We tried to start a business at one point with a buddy of mine. Fell through. We didn't even get a chance to get started. They just wanted the publicity in the area, and then they pulled our franchise like 4 months after we got it. And so I had to go back into corporate America, found some jobs, got screwed around because I got to that age, and I was about 34 years old. I got to an age where I was just like, I'm tired of this shit. And just because you're a frat boy and you were part of some fucking fraternity or, you know, or even sometimes sorority, it doesn't matter. I'm an equal opportunity hater. It's one of those things where one day I said, I'm going to start doing this shit myself. How do I do it? And I set my goal forward. And I took a lot of flack. I took a lot of heat. And then at 39, I just finally said, hell with it. I'm going to do this. And that's where it came from. And I just finally said, hell with it. I'm tired of everybody else telling me what to do.
Yeah.
I made people millions of dollars. And I was still sitting at the side table waiting for the scrap. So I said, fucking, I'm doing it myself.
Yeah. If you're not building your dream, you're busy building somebody else's, right?
Yeah. I mean.
But now you're doing this. So you got this. You got some camouflage.
Got some camo, which I've got some new stuff on order, which it'll be out here soon, and I'll show you guys. So I have a version of camo, the media company. I'm doing the beer thing.
Right.
I'm the owner of Deer Blind Mafia and Duck Blind Mafia. You know, so I'm getting there. It's all launching. I mean, you know, it's all launching.
When you're walking your purpose and you find your purpose, things seem to fall in line. And some people are like, "Oh, that's luck." Well, no, it's the years and years of hard work you put in before.
Exactly.
It's the lessons you learned. It's the losses. It's the things where you're like, I'm not doing that again. And you get to the point. One of my favorite speeches, if you've not watched this, you should check it out. And I typically wouldn't turn to Steve Harvey for life advice.
Mm-hmm. I do the Ashton Kutcher one. Have you seen the Ashton Kutcher one?
No.
He goes, I was never better than a job I had. And he goes, and it's funny how much success looks like, or good luck is, how do you put it? He said, it's funny how much success is good luck, but good luck is a good work ethic.
Yeah.
Luck is just hard work.
It's hard work.
Exactly.
And so what my favorite part of that was on the Steve Harvey thing is he talks about if you're not going to get, God only gives you as much as you can handle. And if you've never gotten through anything before, you wouldn't be here today.
Exactly.
So you're going to get through whatever. Because there's lots of times, at least in my life, I'll speak from personal experience, where I thought this is the end of the road. This is it for me. Whether it's me being in a dark enough place to, literally have a rafter over the, rope over the rafter, or be like, I can't go back to school because I can't face the, whatever the situation is, right? But what he talks about is you got to jump. At some point, you got to jump, and your parachute will eventually open. That's the promise that God made to all of us, right? It's like you're gonna get cut up, you're gonna get bruises, you're gonna break some bones, but eventually your parachute will jump. But open up. But if you never jump, it'll never open up.
Well, and that's one thing I love about the Army, and the Army was a great teacher of this, is you don't know how much your body and your mental state can go through until you pushed it.
Yeah.
And, when you felt like you were tired, and you dig deep, you can always find a little bit more. And each time you find that little bit more, now you have a different reserve.
One more minute.
Each time, exactly.
One more minute.
And I remember I was on this road march, and it was like we were in basic in 18. I'll just never forget this. And I was tired. We're carrying full battle rattle. We're full packed out, and it was heavy. And we were about the 6 or 8 mile mark in, and I'm like, I don't have any more. And I'll never forget, his name was Joe Sergeant Lowe. And this dude was a bigger guy. And he said, you got more. Just look down at your feet, and your feet will tell you where to go. And I'll never forget that, because as I started pushing forward, next thing you know, I'm another half mile, then another mile. And then it's like you push through that pain and you push through that hardness, that being hard. People nowadays, and this is something that bothers me, and I have quite a conversation with a lot of my Army buddies and friends, is people nowadays, if things get hard, they just want to quit. Well, I don't know what to do.
Or they have an alternative.
Well,
that's what social media gives you too. If a relationship gets hard, you got alternatives right here, all lined up.
Yeah, and I always tell my buddy whenever things get hard, it's like, suck it up, buttercup. There's somebody else had to pave the way for you. Just because, in my favorite saying, I tell everybody, when it's like, well, why did you decide to do this? Or I said, I didn't have to reinvent the wheel to make it better. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, wheel's a wheel. It's going to roll.
Right.
So just make it better. You don't make your first million, and not that I'm a millionaire, but if you don't make your first million by recreating somebody else had. Just take what somebody else did and make it fucking better. Technology. If you look around any room,
or just take what somebody else is doing and work harder at it.
Yeah.
One of the things I like about our country, and this leads me kind of into my last question about because I think that what you're doing is really cool to lend itself to I would love to watch you talk to old timers, young men, young women, everybody around the country that is about working hard, that is about the American dream, right? Because I think that's part of hunting is part of our culture. You were military, you like to drive, road trips are part of our culture. I think you have an expansive market here. And one of the things that I like to think about is in America, everybody has an equal opportunity to work hard.
luck looks like a lot like hard work. I mean, I always come back to that. And don't get me wrong, I'm just like anybody else. I get up at 4 a.m. every day. Every day, no matter what.
It's not like everybody else.
But I get up at 4 a.m. because that's how I center myself.
Yeah.
Because, my son, he's with me 50% of the time. I love that little dude. But I get up at 4 a.m. every day. Now, I'm not saying that I don't go back to sleep if I'm tired.
Sure.
But I get up, I check, so that way I have a good mental note of what the day is. I generally go to bed between 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning. And, I follow like Warren Buffett and all these guys. And they don't sleep a lot either because they're driven. I wake up, I check my stuff, I do whatever. And if there's not a lot going on, I may catch a power nap. But I'm always going nonstop. I mean, we're here. I'm always going. But I've learned that one of the key things in my life is I refuse to say no. Now, if it's a business deal, it's not going to be best for the business.
I get what you're saying. No. It's not necessarily metaphorical, but you're saying...
Yeah, I just try not to say no.
If something is an opportunity or something that's new or challenging or fun, I'd say yes to it.
Yes. I mean, because some of the greatest adventures that I've had my entire life, some of the greatest adventures I've been on were just at a whim. Hey, man, we're going to go here. Do you want to go? Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah.
Now, I have this amount of money. I live on a budget, whatever it may be. I go. Because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know what you're going to see. You never know, sometimes the smallest acts become the biggest things. My grandmother always taught me, and she always says two things. One, Norman Schwarzkopf, he said, speak softly and carry a big stick.
Right.
And the second, she says, be kind, because you never know who you're going to meet. Yeah. Kindness will carry farther than hate.
Sure.
And I live by those. That's my mantra. It's like, okay, I'm never going to say no unless it's something that is really not beneficial. I surround myself with people that bring me up, don't bring me down. I cut sling load, and we say in the military, I cut sling load very quickly. If you're not pushing me forward.
Yeah.
Sheldon Cooper said on The Big Bang Theory, I never felt like they were holding me back. I was just always pulling them forward. Cut fucking sling load. Because if you're pulling yourself forward, then you're harnessing to help them. You're harnessing your life to help them.
I like that way of saying. I have a similar one where I talk about, and this is something I've learned very recently, but nothing has to be wrong for something not to be right.
Yeah. Right. I always say two truths can be true at the same time, too.
Yeah.
That's a Ben Shapiro quote. He said two truths can be true at the same time. Just because you don't like me or I don't like you doesn't mean we can't be beneficial to each other. Two truths, we can both hate each other, but if it's going to push us forward, some of my best friends are people that I hated, that I couldn't stand to be in the same room
I've grown up with dudes I've fist fought with, but I don't know if
Yeah.
Actually, no, I got, I'd say probably my on paper best friend, like the dude I've known the longest in my life and still know, we... oil and water.
Yeah, but sometimes those people give you a different perspective. And
right.
I'm not big into politics because, quite honestly, I can give two shits. Like, I'm going to live my life whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. I'm going to keep moving forward.
It still marches on. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm a very strict personality. I'm very caring. I'm very loving. I try to be charitable, and I try to do all those things because I believe that's what the Bible says. Be charitable. If you have it, give it. And when I post my clothing on once I get to start selling it, I'm going to give the first set to God because God will bless your harvest if you allow it. And I'm going to do that because I was raised by my grandmother, and my mom, but they're Catholics. So I mean, I'm not really going to say I'm a Catholic. I am Christian, but I'm not a Catholic anymore because I do believe in eat, drink, and be merry, though. So let's be real with that. I mean, You can see from here. But no, I just throughout everything with hunting's a discipline.
Yeah.
And it's fun, but it's hard. And I try to.
And you don't always win.
Oh, you lose more than you win a lot of the time. This season's been trash. Went to Wisconsin. They were hammering birds the week before we got there. I got there, and it was a 30-mile-an-hour south wind and 70 degrees. We shot 5 birds for 3 days. So we spent all this money, traveled all the way up to Wisconsin to go, and shot 5 birds. And normally, one person can shoot 6 birds in a day, so we didn't get a one-man limit for any of the days. I went to Oklahoma, got skunked again. Same thing happened, whereas... it's
behind them this year.
Yeah, and we're walking a mile in. We're but it's a discipline. It's a good metaphor for life. Hunting is a good metaphor for life, especially duck hunting or deer hunting for that matter. You can do all the prep in the world, but it doesn't mean it's going to go right.
Right.
And you could have the shift in the wind, or they could be a travel day or flight day. And you got up the next day, and the birds aren't there. But you just did all that work just in the hopes of it being better. But the way I look at it is I learned a lot. Okay, well, the wind was blowing this way, so I know I need to be here instead of there. I always try to take any negative and make it a positive.
Sure.
Or just learn something. I never stop learning. I read a lot.
Lose, you
things
learn.
like that. You know, you can't. You're going to lose no matter
Well,
what.
I'm saying though, as a mind perspective, the way I look at it is you win or you learn. I don't look at it as wins and losses. It's technically a loss, but you know what I'm saying? Like just changing the mindset over to like a positive mindset is kind of what I do because. I mean, I've lost, but like you said, I've taken away. What have I learned from this? So rather than looking at it as like, man, that sucks, I'm like, okay, what can I do different this time?
Yeah, and even then, sometimes you're sitting there, and when I'm duck hunting, you know, when you duck hunt, you're with your buddies.
Yeah.
You may not like them all that much, but you still get to know somebody. You know, in the Army, some of the most intimate moments were places we were just sitting and talking. Like I knew more about people's families than I probably know about my own sisters and family now. Like still to this day, I can call a buddy up and say I'm running through town, and they will drop work to come and hang out.
Sure.
My buddy Ray, which you've met Ray, I'm going to see him, and he wasn't even an Army buddy while I was in, but we ended up playing softball one day, and we become best friends. And he calls me 3 times a day, every day, like clockwork. If I don't hear from him for 48 hours, I'm getting nervous. Like, okay, dude, are you good? What's going on? Oh, I've been working late. Because his family sometimes is more family than my own family. Yeah. And I love my family. But they'll call me and like, hey, you know, we saw you post this on Facebook, even though it was nothing big.
Sure,
hey, are you
okay?
good?
Yeah.
Are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I was just posting because of that. Well, we haven't heard from you. And I'm like, I love you guys. I appreciate it, but I'm good. You know, but if I show up down there and don't tell them I'm there in Oklahoma, boy, Supermom will kick my ass. You were in town, you didn't come see it. It's the whole thing. But but I mean, that's kind of how I live my life. And, you know, hunting is a good metaphor for life. You can do all the prep, but sometimes it doesn't pay off. You just pick yourself back up and plan the next day and do it again and just do something a little different. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Einstein said it the best. And the reason he said that is because if it's not working, don't keep fucking doing it.
Right.
Try something different. Add something new in the equation.
For sure.
One number can change the whole equation and make it not work.
Well, I'm excited to watch all the new stuff you're going to add to this.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It's
a lot of hunting stuff coming up.
Rough and rugged?
Rugged and ruthless.
Rugged and ruthless.
Rugged and ruthless.
It's rugged and ruthless.
Yep, R&R. Just like rest and relaxation, but we're rugged and ruthless.
Yeah. You almost got to like clear your search engine before you search for that.
I don't want you to look at my search engine now. That's why I keep, hold on, let me turn my computer. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's fun.
Cool, man. Well, I'm excited to watch. I really greatly appreciate you having me on here and kind of letting me know the rundown of who you are and what's going down, and looking forward to seeing all the episodes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how often we're posting them. I mean, that's actually
once a week.
That's your department.
Yeah, I'm here to help.
I'm trusting you on that.
Yeah. Once a week they'll be out.
But thanks, Corey, for coming on. I appreciate it, and thanks guys for tuning in to Rugged and Ruthless. And I'd like to put a special thank you and shout out to all the veterans and police and first responders, guys. You guys are the heroes. Teachers too, man. Y'all are something else, and we love you. We got your 6, and see you next go round. Later.